You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
You're listening to Reverend Jeremy
and Georgia
on iCannabisRadio.com.
Hello there.
Hi, happy Monday.
It is Happy Monday.
It's 6 o'clock on the
25th.
5th of August, 2014.
Yes.
Wow.
Today is the first day of Burning Man for those of you playing the home game.
And caring.
And caring. You know, if you're a burner, you're probably already there. So that's all right. Although it did get rained out today. So if you're trying to get in, good luck.
That's a shame.
It is.
It's always hard when there's things that you're looking forward to so much and something unexpected happens to either waylay you or have it canceled or those kinds of things.
Right. I know what it's like because I look forward to Apo every year. That's my burning event. And every year you freak out right beforehand like, oh, please, either A, don't let it be too hot that we're under fire ban because, you know, it's really nice to have fires at night.
Yeah.
And also hail, and last year we had, or this past summer, we had the Dust Devil tornado kind of thing that ripped up people's tents, carports, you know, ripped up half the path of the temple. And is 42 feet. Well, it was both halves, so technically it would have been 84 feet since it's an infinity loop of 4-foot 2x4s.
Yeah.
And it just shot it up in the air, threw it down in a pile, kept going, ripping tents up, and it's like, holy shit, in the mountains. Like,
it's crazy.
It was like a Colorado tornado in the mountains. Colorado mountain tornado.
That's right.
It doesn't even have to be clouds.
Just has to be outside.
5 years ago, there was hail. Last year at Bongathon, there was hail. Last year at Bongathon, there was hail.
Bongathon, except for this year, Bongathon seems to always have some crazy little microburst of something that causes something.
Well, it's because they're in like the area it's in is in like a bowl. Right? When you drive up over this hill on 285, and you kind of come into this clearing where it's just this big open area, this big, huge, I mean, for miles and miles and miles, it's just this big open area in the middle of the mountains.
Yeah.
So you're surrounded by mountains, but when that weather comes over, it just kind of rolls around in there.
Right.
And it gets a little crazy. So that's one of the potential future locations for Apo. Because they've got a ton of land. We could have art cars, but there's no trees. You know, it's going to be a little more exciting.
Interesting.
I really don't want it to move, though, because our spot, again, is sacred. That burn spot, it's got ashes from 2 of our friends. So, you know, it's a little weird, but
life goes on.
It does.
Sometimes change happens. Today is also I believe I am saying this accurately, that all of the schools in Colorado are now back in session. My little one went back to school today as a big 4th grader. Came back first day of school with the ripped shirt.
That can't be good.
He did it. Like, he ripped his shirt.
Really?
Yeah. I know, right?
As long as
No, it wasn't a fight. It was not a
scrapes,
fight.
nothing.
No, he was pulling on it and kind of biting it, and I don't know. It sounded to me like nervous energy. You did that when you were a kid? Yeah, that's not unusual. It's just unusual for him. He doesn't do that. But today he did and ripped a shirt. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Clearly I'm fine with it because I'm like...
Not freaking out?
Well, it's the first time he'd ever worn this shirt. Last time he was ever going to wear the shirt, but that's cool. And your youngest started high school today?
Yep.
What the...
I know, that's crazy. It's crazy.
You have a high schooler.
Shit. It's a lot to think about, you know, because my oldest, you know, I've only been in contact with since the beginning of this year, and she was, you know, she turned 19 in March, and we started talking in January. So at this point, she was already out of high school, so it's like, all right, she's just in the workforce, debating on going to college, all that. It's like, all right, well, right on. But for my youngest, going to high school today is kind of a big deal. I talked to her last night. She was not very excited.
I bet.
About it because I guess apparently her school is a 6A school.
What does that mean?
Huge.
So
they go by
those Texas schools can be big.
So like Broomfield High, if I recall correctly, was a 4A. school, which was fairly good size. You know, it's easy to get lost amongst your class of 200-300 people, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. Alyssa says that her class is estimated to have 700 freshmen.
Whoa.
700.
Whoa.
700. So
She'll be a standout.
If on average, that'd be 2,800 people in that school. If each grade has 700 kids, and that's holy shit.
Yeah.
How many teachers? You know, how much are they really learning? How big are the classes? I don't know. I'd like to find out.
But I think I agree that especially with younger kids that class sizes need to be smaller so that people don't get lost. But you know, when kids get older, they just need to figure it out. And sometimes it's a lecture and sometimes they just have to pay attention and sometimes they just have to take notes and no one's going to baby them. And of course, I want my kid babied
Right.
all the way through until.
Yeah, but it just gets harder in life. You know, we need to learn some shitty shit when we're young sometimes.
Yeah.
Sadly. But I took my little sister to school when she was 14. I was 28. So it was a nice split right there, and it was like, hey, look, you get to take you to your first day of school. That was exactly half my life ago.
Yeah.
And here you go, and go run and play. And so that was kind of neat. So I didn't get to see Alyssa today, but hopefully we'll get to talk to her sometime. She hasn't responded to my text, so I don't know if just calling her she might be busy. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? First day of school, even if you're excited, can be stressful.
Well, and she does cross country, so she has to be up at like 5:30 every morning and whatever. But today she didn't have it because it's first day of school, so they just skipped it for today. But she does it Monday through Saturday, so
Wow.
I can't imagine that she stays up very late anymore.
Right. That's quite a commitment.
It is, jeez.
Quite a commitment. I think having a boy is a little bit easier. I mean, the anxieties aren't over the same things. They're over, you know, boy things.
Well, we could cut right through some of it. You know, I'm not bashful. Like with boys, you got to worry that they might get somebody pregnant. With a girl, you have to worry that she's going to get pregnant.
That's right.
The difference is the boy can be a jerk and not deal with it at all. The girl only really has a couple options, you know, a few at most. You know, raise it, adoption, or abortion. So, yeah, that's a huge concern.
Well, and not even going into that realm. I mean, there's so many just significant things that things that kids think are significant. You know, what they're wearing, who they're sitting next to, who's in their homeroom.
I was trying to tell that to my daughter last night. I said, look, you're going to go through 4 years of different people trying to impress upon you what is cool. None of that is going to matter once you get out of school.
That's right.
You're going to spend 4 years stressing and wasting all this time over stupid shit, and you're going to regret it later if you don't pay more attention in class.
Right.
Because all that knowledge, it's dumb then, but later in life, you're going to stumble into situations where, oh shit, I do need algebra and geometry all of a sudden. Here, let's build that. Or, you know, you'll need ethics or this or that. Any of these different classes that you might, you know.
Right.
It's like just seize it while it's free. Because once you're over 18, good luck finding free anything.
That's right.
Much less free education.
Well, and you know, the kids that were maybe not so cool in high school, I mean, that all dissolves later on. You know, they're the people that you want to be friends with or you're hoping to be friends with, you know, may not be so cool later on. So just find the people that you enjoy hanging out with and have as much fun as you can, get as great of an education as you can, have as many wonderful experiences, and don't get caught up in all that petty stuff.
Absolutely. And that's really what life's all about.
Were you cool in high school?
I wasn't one of the popular kids, but I wasn't really unpopular.
What does that mean?
People knew who I was, but I wasn't rich enough to be one of the popular kids. I don't know.
What did you do on Friday and Saturday nights?
Fuck, that was a long time ago.
I mean, did you hang out with your friends? Did you go to the library?
It was always hanging out with my friends. You know, always, 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 always. That was so important when I was younger. listening to music, all these things were all so important. As I've gotten older, it's not as important. You know, like I like to spend time in my own head. You know, I drive without the radio on. You know,
Whoa.
I've evolved into my dad in so many ways. You know,
It's not a bad thing.
not really. Except growing up, I didn't think my dad liked anything. You know, and it's like no music. I mean, they got Kenny Rogers record. You know, I mean something.
Aw, you gotta know. Actually, I better not sing because we can't edit.
Yeah, right.
Of course, no one. If I sang, no one would even be able to recognize what I was singing.
Shit. But still, fuck. Now I forgot what I was saying.
You're
Oh.
becoming more like your dad, and those things that were important to you when you were younger aren't as important now.
No, they're definitely not. You know, I mean, music. I still remember I don't remember what day it was. August 5th, maybe. I don't know. It was '95. It was when Metallica Load came out. That was the day music died for me.
Oh yeah.
Because, like, when I was younger, I was so wrapped up in music and its meaning and all these different things. And, you know, you get this image that these musicians, they're gods and all this stuff. And then you find out your favorite bands like Motley Crue, imagine this, Vince Neil's a womanizer. I mean, who would have thought?
Right. Right.
Or Metallica, just when they sold out and this album came out, it had a country song on it and all these other weird songs, which, you know, okay, well, whatever, but you're a metal thrash band and you come out with feathers and boas and fur coats and you cut your hair and you paint your fingernails and you're wearing eyeliner and shiny shoes, and who the fuck are you? Put a country song on your fucking album? Fuck you guys. And so it's just music died after that.
I can feel that for you.
And it was sad, and I've not really attached to too much music since then. I mean, Rage Against the Machine, which fortunately they broke up. I heard that they're putting a new album together, but, you know, and it's certainly time. I mean, the world is badly in need of some good quality militant revolutionary music. So Rage, please come back. But other than that, you know, life has definitely evolved. And then since the accident, holy shit, like priorities have changed even
Right.
more.
That's right.
So,
Well, I was thinking about, you know, when you have a high schooler and there are so many things going on in their worlds, and in Colorado we have kind of an additional factor. I mean, we have to talk to our kids about pot. We have no choice but to have this conversation, which is great for those of us who are really comfortable with this conversation and share facts with our kids. But it's really changed some of the parenting responsibilities of people who are either still living in reefer madness world or who would just prefer not to deal with those difficult topics. The idea of someone Alyssa's age experimenting, for some people, experimenting with anything, sex, drugs, anything, is an extremely difficult thing for some people to, for some parents to handle or want to deal with. But, you know, I mean, I can't think of a day that has gone by in recent history where there hasn't been something in the newspaper or something on TV in Colorado about cannabis. And so our kids are just absolutely inundated with all of this media around this topic.
see, in my opinion, though, I'm a bit biased, and for obvious reasons. But when I was growing up, when I was in high school, it was alcohol. That was the thing. You know, all the cool kids were drinking. I tried. I just couldn't. You know, my friends. You know, it's always like, let's drink. And so I try, and it's just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even finish my first full can of beer until I was 21, and that was just disgusting. You know, it's terrible. But I found weed when I was 18 or 19, you know, right after. I mean, I tried it before when I was in high school, but it didn't get me high. So I was like, oh, fuck, this is stupid. And I just kind of kept going with the bandwagon, like, oh, weed's dumb, alcohol's great. But, you know, I went to a lot of alcohol parties when I was in high school. And, you know, girls pass out. It's the original date rape drug, you know, I like to think. Although there's these commercials and ads and whatever trying to think that people are date raping people with weed cookies and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, no. Alcohol's been doing that, and there's just it's just, come on.
Right.
I mean, Florida, really? Like,
Right.
weed is such a huge problem down there. You're really worried about it. But again, that comes back to talking to your kids. But what are you going to talk to them about? I would have liked to have had a safer choice as a teenager, because I know that people are like, well, we don't want kids to do it. We don't want. Good for fucking you. Because guess what? Kids are doing the shit.
That's right.
Like, no matter what, legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. Broomfield, we fought against them to get allowed dispensaries. They passed a moratorium. They said, we don't want weed in our town. It's like,
It's
well,
there.
it's already here. Like, it's been available since the
Ever.
dawn of the town. You can't, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there, but it's nice that you people have your illusions because you've put it out there and you say, hey, we have our illusions. They're more important.
Right.
We're
Well,
a
then it's so much
Stepford
more
town.
confusing for kids in my mind. So why is it that Colorado's decided to legalize marijuana, but I can't buy it here? Try to explain that to kids and these double standards and the fact that we know that all of the science is on the side of alcohol is a pretty dangerous, mind-altering substance, and cannabis is a pretty safe substance. But there's all this propaganda that continues to show kids otherwise and confuse them.
Well, and like you said, the rat cages. I mean, what the fuck is that about? Marijuana's just not killing people. It's not a fucking problem.
Well, and unfortunately, I think again, to me, what makes it confusing is we don't know for sure if smoking marijuana while a brain is developing has adverse effects. We don't, because there hasn't been really good longitudinal studies, and no one's going to start saying, hey, let's have an 11-year-old start smoking every day and see what happens. I mean, I think maybe we'll have some use some of the kids that are using medicinal and see if there's any other effects, but that's not even a fair study because there's so many other things going on with these kids.
Well, but even the same parents that are, no, you can't give weed to kids. Well, but you're giving them Adderall and Ritalin. And I've been watching the Every Simpsons Ever marathon, and there was a commercial that came on in the middle of the night, and I forget what the drug was for, but it was all parents. If you have given your kid blah-blah-blah for ADHD and they are growing female breasts, and it's like, are there male breasts? Because,
Yeah,
pecs. But if you say if they're growing breasts, nobody thinks, well, fuck, are they growing male breasts or female breasts? But they had to point it out that they're growing female breasts. You may have a suit to file and blah, 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 blah.
Scary, isn't it?
So, no on weed. But yeah, we'll try that pill. I can't even pronounce it, but fuck it, I'll give it to my kid 4 times a day.
Because the doctor said so.
He doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat anymore, but he's paying attention in class, he's doing well, but I don't recognize him anymore, but fuck it.
And he has boobs.
And he has boobs. So on that note, oh wait, poop. Okay,
Poop.
we
Be
got
right
it out.
back.
The Law Office of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Mayton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
And we're back.
And we're back.
We are.
Well, my whole point before the break about this additional what we need to do in Colorado because kids are so kind of slapped in the face with talking about cannabis every which way is, I mean, it puts a little bit of pressure on us in a good way. I mean, we can we have got a responsibility to answer our kids' questions honestly and with the facts, with an educated mind. And we aren't Arkansas that maybe never talks about that stuff ever. I'm sorry if I just hurt everyone in Arkansas's feelings, but yeah, I mean, our kids in Colorado know a lot. They know a lot about pot, and they know the facts, and they know where to get the facts. And if they're getting fed a bunch of BS from their parents, then kids are calling them on it. Other kids are saying that's not true. I took that picture. That's not true. That's what they're saying. So it's just kind of an interesting twist to raising kids in Colorado.
Eventually, like hopefully, our kids, their kids, will look back and be like, "What happened?" Like our grandparents through Prohibition, they're like that. That was crazy as shit back in them days, outrunning the police and drinking our moonshine. And it's just, we'll be doing the same things. Like, we had to outrun the police with a joint, and, we went to jail for having a roach in the ashtray. And kids are like, no way, Grandpa. No way. That's bullshit.
What's interesting, though? I find myself more paranoid. Not paranoid, that's too strong of a word. But more kind of aware when I'm at places like Red Rocks, because it's public and there is no public consumption, and since Red Rocks has existed, people smoke during shows. I mean, that's just the way that it goes. But now I'm
smoking at the Big Lebowski next Tuesday.
See?
Oh, I'm getting stoned. Happy birthday to me.
I am more, right? I am more kind of aware of the fact that it's not okay than I was before Amendment 64 passed. Not that I think I'm going to get in trouble because A, I don't smoke, and B, I really don't think that they're wasting their time and energy on that. But
well, because before they just wanted to bust you for weed because that was money in their pocket. Now that was taken away, they've got to figure out, okay, well, shit, well, let's pay attention to this much more now because we can still do this.
Right.
This is still enforceable. So, yeah, I think the same thing. It's like, fuck, if that cop finds it on me, I'm okay. But if he catches me smoking it, punch me in the stomach, take my shit and take me to jail and be like, I found this guy doing drugs. He's doing that marijuana.
Doing the drugs. He had 3 marijuanas on him.
3. It was bullshit. I kicked his ass. I tased him. One more marijuana fell out of his pocket. Damn near shot the motherfucker.
So that's not funny in any way, shape, or form, but I do want to change the subject for just a second and
Does
say
have a small amount of humor.
and say that there has been some significant police brutality. Historically, it seems to have gotten significantly worse.
Well, with cameras being so readily available everywhere, all kinds of cameras, like the police are finally. See, that's the thing. The police need policing. The Supreme Court in 2006 or 2007 overturned the Supreme Court of Colorado that said that the police, that their job was to protect us. Well, this new, in 2006, 2007 Supreme Court, the highest Supreme Court, I think, if I read it correctly, said that they don't have to. I don't think I saved it.
Well, what was that?
A Huffington Post article about, let's clear up some lies you've been told about vaginas. I haven't read it yet, but it made me think of Jenny. All these things that she would post. So it's like, all right, I got to read these. Because it's stuff I like to post in Sexpot Radio still.
Yeah.
Keep that going. Ooh, speaking of.
Well, we're all over the place.
Oh, totally.
But go ahead.
But
That's right.
given that this is the home stretch week to the first anniversary, we got last episode of Sexpot Radio re-uploaded. So I've been trying to play every one from this month on its corresponding Tuesday night.
Nice.
But I'm not sure if I want to do tomorrow's tomorrow or if I want to do it on Wednesday when it would be an actual year instead of just a Tuesday. But I might do the Tuesday because it's kind of nice to have that rebroadcast.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Of course, we could always rebroadcast it from here too, but somebody would have to be here. So, but still, it's kind of exciting.
It's really a lot.
But I was probably going somewhere with that, but it's easy just to shut down right after you start thinking about that. But no, I don't have it still here. But, the Supreme Court said that it's not the police's job to protect and serve. It's their job to uphold the law. So it's like, well, that seems to make sense. That's why they put it in quotes, to serve and protect, on the LA cop car, because it's just a thought. It's not a requirement.
Just a quote.
The police's job is to uphold the law, even if it's a shitty law.
So I'm going to say something, and I need you to let me say the whole thing before you jump down my throat.
Roar! Fuck the police!
So I am not convinced that it's the police's fault that they act like giant douchebags. I think that they have been trained that this is what they need to do and how they need to do it, and they have been allowed to get away with it for so long that it's just part of the process. And then every once in a while, these people get so upset because, I don't know, a black man or man of color was somehow wronged by the police, and I guess we have to change our process until people get over themselves. Well, as you said, with now the fact that so many people film the police doing crazy things, that they have dashboard cams for their own safety that have shown their brutality. People are pretty darn up in arms. The fact that multiple unarmed people have been not just injured, but killed by police officers for absolutely no reason is outrageous. It is outrageous. We get upset at how the police handle nonviolent crimes or just drug crimes in general or drug possession in general that isn't even a crime any longer. And the reality is, these are folks who believe that they are somehow better, different, stronger, smarter, because that's how they've been trained. And until we can stop that process, and until we can get back to, serve and protect, fine, uphold the law, whatever you want to call it, but injuring people and, God forbid, killing people, not part of the job. And you shouldn't want it to be part of your job, officer.
It's got to be a tough one. Now that it's, so there was a few articles going around the other day saying that the fundraisers in support of the police officer have surpassed the amount raised for the dead kid. And it's like, wait, why is money being raised for a murderous cop?
Right.
Like, what are they saying? Is this to help put him in witness protection so he doesn't get beat down by the color community? I mean, it's insane. It's insane. For every step forward that we make as a society, legalizing marijuana in Colorado, I feel like we take 10 steps back when we think that treating any human being that way is acceptable. Well, and that's the thing. So if you look at the two statements, to uphold the law and to serve and protect, they're entirely two different lines of business.
That's right.
Like, one's a money collection ordeal.
It could be protecting people if you're upholding the law. If someone's committing a crime and you stop them and take them to jail, you've helped and protected somebody. I mean, there
right,
is,
it does happen.
It does happen, and so it's not just semantics, but if their sole responsibility is to serve and protect, then they're not saying that they're upholding the law. So I guess I understand from that point of view. However, I think about the Hippocratic Oath that physicians take. I mean, do no harm. Do no harm. Police officers should do that as well.
But they're supposed to they swear to uphold the Constitution, the judges, the police, the feds, all of them.
Don't shoot somebody then.
How is it that you're respecting people's rights at all if you're just shooting them or you're choking them or you tase them to death? In other countries, at what point is death a worthy punishment for stealing. You know, when they shoot robbers, shoot them in the fucking leg. You know, help bring them to justice. They're still fucking people. You know, just because they've committed a crime, we treat people like they're complete outcasts.
Well, and I understand from what little I know that police training says if you're going to fire your weapon, you're always going to fire your weapon with an intent to kill. Because otherwise, because you're only doing it because you're in danger. There was an officer that thought that he was pulling out his taser and pulled out his gun and shot and killed an innocent person.
Well, did you see the video from Ferguson? I mean,
I
there's a
won't
lot of
watch
them.
it.
There was that one of the cop that's walking around like this going, I will fucking kill you. He pointed right at the camera person and said, I will fucking kill you.
Another piece of their training is that they should never point a gun unless they intend to fire.
Right. And you see lots of pictures of cops just wandering around like this. And it's, you know, the part of the problem, too, is the militarization of the police force.
Well, and the amount of did you ever watch John Oliver?
What's that?
Oh my gosh, it's an HBO news program that is not only hilarious, but right on all the time. And the military has given police forces across the country tens of thousands of dollars worth of military equipment.
Oh, hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
Millions. I mean, I've seen lots of stories about
Stuff
it.
we do not need.
No,
I mean,
not on
you
the
know,
streets. I mean, I guess if we get invaded by another country one day, we might be like, fuck, thank God. Except now it's dipshits that have the... Because police are not that bright. You know, some of them are, but a lot of them are
I'm not even willing to go there. I mean, you can. I'm not even willing to go there. I'm not going to judge people on their intellect. I really am going to say that we have created a group of people, and I'm not lumping all police officers together, but this has been a pretty awful time that somehow believe that what they are doing to protect the community or uphold the Constitution or uphold the law or whatever justifies hurting someone in any way.
Or
Killing at worst. But really, it's okay to like punch someone when they're down. There's a jail video of a man in a wheelchair who was going to do some jail time for some like moving violations in his car or something like that. He got to jail, to be put in jail, and they have to search you. They dumped him out of his wheelchair because they said get up, and he didn't get up because guess what? He couldn't. They dumped him out of his wheelchair. And when the authorities looked at the protocol, the person didn't get in any trouble because they thought they did their job. They made sure that he wasn't bringing any contraband into the jail.
See, and that's just the thing. If you become a criminal in this country, you enter into the system, you become less of a person. Period.
But somehow, because you're a criminal, you deserve to be treated criminally.
Apparently.
I mean, is that really what we've come to?
Apparently, even in times of just utter torture, like the night of my accident, I was handcuffed to the hospital bed for hours and hours, and they didn't care.
Right.
It's like, wait, the worst possible news in my whole life right now, and I'm just handcuffed for having barely anything. Amazing.
Kill them with kindness, folks. That's been my philosophy lately. There is no reason to take out anger with anger. I know it feels really good, but all it does is give people fodder for why they think you're a jerk or why they think you deserve it. So use your brains when approaching these kinds of things. Be more respectful. Maybe teach them how to be respectful. I mean, clearly they're somehow learning that if they whip out their gun and shoot somebody 19 times, that's going to get their point across.
But people have to learn to fight back. See, that's the thing. If you empower a bully, by empowering a bully, all you have to do is let them continue to pick on you. And if by letting the police bully people all the time, see, that's the tricky part. The police are not supposed to be above the law. They're just there to enforce the law. They have to follow the same laws, but if a policeman walks up and punches you, you by law have to let him kick your ass until he stops, because as soon as you fight back, he will probably kill you.
You've assaulted a police officer. That's right.
Right.
Well, and know your rights. We need to take a break, but know what your rights are, and maybe this is a good opportunity for us at some point to have I don't know, an attorney friend of ours come in to talk about how you should never, ever, 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 ever talk to the police.
Right. Like, look it up on YouTube. Don't talk to the police.
If the police ask you a question, say, I mean, there's like 5 things that you can say, none of which are, yes, you can search my trunk.
Right. Like, I do not consent to a search. It's very simple. That's one of your basic sentences. Like, I plead the 5th.
Am I being
no
detained
comments.
here?
You know,
am I being arrested?
Detained? You know, am I free to go?
Am I free to go?
Like once you ask, am I being detained, they usually won't answer. And they say, am I free to go? They have to say yes unless they're going to detain you. So
then get the hell out with your mouth shut.
yeah, don't say anything. Just
Don't
walk
say
away and
anything.
get the fuck away. Brag to your friends later, but don't pop off as you're walking away because he will kick your ass.
Yeah.
So-
We'll be right back.
Yes.
The Law Office of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Mayton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
You're listening to Reverend Jeremy and Georgia on iCannabisRadio.com.
And we're back.
And we're back.
I beat you all the times tonight. I was so rare.
Even with a couple marijuanas.
Right, and I'm about to take another marijuana, so please excuse me while I do some marijuana.
So, a couple things I wanted to talk about. I contacted one of the investigators at the Marijuana Enforcement Division to see if he might want to come on the show and talk about what it is that enforcement does in the industry. You know, these are the
Find out where all that money's going?
right? The Marijuana Enforcement Division only enforces the marijuana licensed businesses. They aren't doing criminal, any of those kinds of things.
So they're not coming out to the house, checking
Right.
to see if you've got actually 12 plants.
Right.
You just better not fuck up and have the police ever have to come out to your house.
Yeah, they're not doing that stuff. Unfortunately, he was not able to, understandably, they have a public information officer that talks to the media. So I will contact, actually, I know who that person is. I'd rather have the director come and talk with us. But if he won't come and talk, they did say that I could write a bunch of questions that they would give some answers to. So we'll do that. I also had read a couple of interesting articles in the not too distant past that I thought we might talk about if you wanted to.
Well, sure.
Well, sure. So we've talked before. We had Warren in to talk about the potency testing requirements for retail marijuana. And in October, there is going to be contaminant testing is going to start for retail. I find this interesting, and tell me if you follow the logic here. Testing is required for recreational consumers, people who are purchasing, maybe because they have medical needs, but they're not purchasing with the red card, which, by the way, we'll talk about in a second, is going to go away. Red card's going away.
God damn it. When?
No, this is good.
Why?
Because they're replacing it with something that looks like a credit card. And it's going to be like a laminated, like a driver's license as opposed to...
Well, fucking hallelujah. They should have done that.
Hallelujah.
The place up in Broomfield that I first got legal at back in, I don't even know anymore. It's been so long. They issued cards, which I used to carry one, and it was beautiful. It was perfect, like a driver's license, had that little hidden ghost symbols in it.
Yep.
And it was
So
like,
this.
and they were trying to help push it to the marijuana, the enforcement division, and they're like, no. And it's like, but it's real easy. Like, it's real easy. It's really easy. I mean, you do it with badges now. Why don't you fucking do it like this red card? Okay, so as long as they're not taking away the program.
No, they're not taking away the program. They're just going to physically change the cards. For those of you that haven't seen the card, let's see if I can you can grab yours first. Oh, yeah. So we don't have to see your number or anything, but so they're this big, ridiculous piece of paper, and
And they got bigger. like a couple of years ago, the size increased just a small amount, but it's just enough now it sticks out of your wallet.
Everything.
It's super irritating.
So they're a little bit thicker. They're super easy to forge. There's nothing special about them. They do have mountains in the back, which is a fairly new thing a couple years ago. They're on slightly thicker paper. They do have a barcode. Great. They have a barcode. But
They do use American Banknote Company paper too, just like your birth certificates.
yep. So it is thicker. It does have like a back watermark kind of thing. But really, if you're going through, people are looking at dozens of red cards every day.
Well, and it's stupid because we have to renew it every year.
And they reissue cards every single year, so that's costly. And they change your number every single year, which is kind of
Stupid.
So, and it's just a lot to coordinate.
It's a lot of waste.
So soon is when they said it's going to happen soon, and they're going to be purple, like
Yay.
Purple Mountain Majesty,
Nice.
and they'll have some kind of not hieroglyph. What do you call it? Hologram. Thank you. I'm like hieroglyphics. They're not going to have hieroglyphics. That'd be cool though. A hologram on it.
I'm not going to put the laws on there.
Right. But anyway, so they are coming out with a new card in Colorado. But I think so we were talking about potency testing and how recreational product needs potency testing, but not medical products. And then stranger than that is that recreational marijuana is going to require that we have contaminants testing, but medical does not require that.
So
Head scratch. Do that right here. Head scratch. Huh.
it's why? Who's in charge?
Well, I to me it felt like it was we learned from our omissions in the medical rules, and so let's go ahead and put that in the rec rules. I guess.
So it's just a show. Because if it meant something, if they were really concerned about people,
Everyone would
it
need
would have started with medical.
Yeah. Well, and so potency testing really doesn't mean anything other than you get a yes, you tested, or a no, you didn't test, and you need to do that prior to selling your product. The contaminants testing has a lot more ramifications if you quote unquote fail. So there was an article in the Colorado Springs paper this morning entitled "Testing of Colorado Marijuana for Contaminants to Begin This Year." It begins in October. It says months after ordering tests to determine the potency of Colorado-grown pot, state regulators are zeroing in on another concern: how sick can one get from a bad batch? Sometime in the coming months, recreational marijuana producers must begin testing for bacteria, fungus, heavy metals, and solvents before their products reach store shelves. 4 labs in Colorado will test for levels of E. coli, Salmonella, and Aspergillus. I think it's Aspergillus. A fungus that can cause allergic reactions and lung infections. They'll also look for butane and other solvents used to refine marijuana into concentrated oils, as well as heavy metals such as arsenic, cadmium, lead, and mercury. Businesses that fail to meet purity benchmarks cannot sell anything from that batch. And they look at a batch not as a strain, but sort of as a room or a quad. So if you have one room and you harvest all that at the same time, that's what they call a batch. So if something tests hot in that batch, you might have to get rid of a whole room. Yep. Opinions differ on how prevalent and how dangerous each substances are in marijuana sold in Colorado's burgeoning pot industry. The new requirements do not apply to pesticides, which aren't subject to across-the-board testing, which is ridiculous. But anyway. Nor is medical marijuana regulated for contaminants, and it's unclear when the testing mandate will take effect. Regulators had planned to begin mandatory tests October 1st, but now it's more likely to be by the end of the year, says Louis Koski, director of the state's Marijuana Enforcement Division. He wants to conduct at least 2 months of beta testing, essentially testing of select businesses to ensure the process works. What we're trying to do here is very unique, Koski said, and there isn't a set of best practices that exists in other jurisdictions that we can follow, right? Because no one's testing marijuana for contaminants.
And again, this is exciting because we're just making this shit up as we go along. Like, we are the revolution. It's awesome. I love being in Colorado right now.
I know, right? Owners and lab directors for 2 of the state's certified labs expressed marginal, if any, concern that they would find enough high and widespread levels of contaminants once mandatory testing begins. My feeling is that really this is not that big of an issue, said Peter Perrone, laboratory director at Gobi Analytic, a certified lab that as of mid-August was finalizing its testing processes for contaminants. It's just a standard practice. It's a good practice. The fact that they're requiring it doesn't mean that there's a problem. It's basically to kind of prevent problems. Which I'm not sure that I agree with that necessarily.
I didn't hear the last line.
He just thinks that there's not problems. This lab director thinks that there's not problems. This is just kind of a way to prove that there's not problems. I think that there's probably some problems.
Like what?
I think that there's probably fungus, those kinds of things on product.
Well, I'm sure. There's
Yeah.
places that have powdery mildew and mold and bugs and whatever. It'd be really nice.
Bugs they don't even care about bugs anymore. They're not going to test for bugs.
Really?
Nope.
Gross.
Gross. Well, you know what? Your peanut butter has bugs in it.
You know, I saw that disgusting fucking video. Like, that was just,
Delicious.
that was so horrific.
I love it. Crunchy peanut butter is where it's at. All right, sicknesses because of contaminated marijuana are not among the state's list of illnesses that must be reported to the public health officials. As a result, statistics are rare or non-existent for admissions to Colorado hospitals for marijuana-related illnesses due to contaminants. Neither Memorial Hospital nor Penrose St. Francis Health Services track admissions for people suffering the effects of contaminated pot. Those are Colorado Springs Health Services. Several patients at Denver health facilities have, despite having used marijuana in the past, shown up pale and sweaty with diluted pupils and complaints of nausea. The symptoms suggest a reaction to pesticides, says Dr. Christopher Caldwell, Denver Health Director of Emergency Medicine. But he could be speaking only anecdotally because patients often are treated with medication and released. If you want to smoke marijuana, and my suggestion would be you don't, but if you want to do that and it's now legal, then be very clear as to where it's coming from. I mean, for those of you who don't know, there's a whole list of pesticides that are not allowed to be used on marijuana. I mean, it's in the rules. You can't use it. Ingredients of anything that has been used on the plants or could be used on the plants must go out with every single package. So people should know what's been used on their product.
That's cool. As long as people are being honest.
Yeah, I mean.
And they're labeling.
Exactly. So let's take a quick last break.
You know what we should talk about before? Because you talked about all the scary stuff. You know, it'd be really sweet, like if you had to, especially if you had to lose a whole fucking room. A whole room! You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to jam your thumb up your ass, or are you going to be insured?
I would hope that you would have called Cuffle Collimore by now.
I would hope so, especially if you've been listening to us for any extended period of time.
And you've met my cute dad. If you've met my cute dad, then you're hooked up then. Yeah, so call Cuffle Collimore or visit them at cufflecollimore.com. You can email Bob Collimore at rtc@cufflecollimore.com.
But what if you don't have that and you want to call them? Because maybe you got questions, but you like to talk to people, especially after that shit you just said.
Right.
Like, what if you lose a whole room? That could be $100,000.
877-392-4302.
Well, see, there you go. So call that number. And because, you know, like, I didn't really think much about it until you said, you know, you could lose a whole room, and it's like thumb in your bum. Who are you going to call that's going to give a shit?
Bob Collimore.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
It's good to have somebody to call.
Yep, it's really good.
So, hallelujah.
Thanks, Dad. We'll be right back.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. RunOnGrass.com.
National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
And we're back.
Oh, how did I miss that?
Because there was no intro. It just went from commercial to a little silence to us. Yay! So hello there. Hello.
So there's a couple things that we want to talk about before our show is over. This is Happy Monday, and I feel like we haven't been super happy today. But a couple things. One is, we are really happy to have the problems that we have in Colorado, dealing with testing, having to be uber honest and uber upfront at a young age with our kids about marijuana and other drugs. So we are happy about all those things. It just may not have sounded as happy as Awesome August is supposed to sound.
Right, but this is the last of Awesome August. And we go into Stupendous September.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's going to get crazy. Now, on that note, are we doing a show next Monday on Labor Day night?
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not sure entirely what I'm doing. My birthday's the next day. I don't have counseling.
I'd sort of like to take the night off.
We might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Labor Day. Let's celebrate our labors and not do anything. Maybe go swimming or something.
Yeah, let's go swimming.
So
we're going to be swimming next week.
So I guess when I get back, I'm going to be a whole year older. If any of that
crazy
shit
how that
matters,
happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. I'll be 29, for those that were wondering.
Yeah.
I know there were people wondering.
They're counting on their fingers really quick.
Right.
The fact that his oldest daughter is 19.
Right. Like 29. That ain't right. Do your different math. Do that algebra shit and catch me later.
We have a friend in Colorado Springs by the name of Christy Wheeler. And Christy has a daughter, Katie Bug, who was unfortunately killed in a car accident the end of last week. And the family they're amazing activists. Christy is a phenomenal woman and had taught her children to stick up for what they believe is right and work hard and be kind. And our hearts go out to Christy and her family. Losing your 16-year-old daughter just before her birthday as well is just absolutely one of the worst things that you can possibly go through. And Christy's very lucky. She has built an amazing community in Colorado that has been incredibly supportive, but nothing that can make any of that feel better. One of the things that happens when someone dies unexpectedly, especially when a kid dies, is there are lots of unexpected expenses that come about, including just paying for the funeral. And if you have anything to give, please go to.
Here. Well, we could say that Katie's memorial service will be held this Thursday, which I guess if you're listening to this at a later date, it may have already passed. But what's Thursday's date? Today's August 25th, 2014. So
26, 27, 28.
So 28th, somewhere around there. At 11 a.m. on Thursday at Grace Baptist Church, which is located at 3500 North Nevada in Colorado Springs. And then a reception will follow at the Elks Lodge at 3400 North Nevada. Visitation will take place 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Wednesday at Capadonna Funeral Home on 1020 East Fillmore Street, Colorado Springs. And you can send flowers directly to the Capadonna Funeral Home.
So if you want more information or if you wanted to be able to donate, please visit flywithangels.com.
Yes. And if you do end up going to that, it says family requests that you wear bright colors to the service. Pinks and purples were Katie's favorite, but she loved the full spectrum, and her constantly changing hair colors were a testament to that. I know somebody else that was like that.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if maybe dyeing your hair signals you out, and and they're like, well, I'm gonna grab you, coming with me. So don't rainbow your hair out. All the evil, how does it go?
No, do
all
it.
the good die young, all the evil seem to live forever.
Do it. Do whatever you want to do. Don't be afraid. Don't live your life being afraid. Definitely don't do that. So on iCannabis Radio this week, we have the Adam Dunn Show from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. They are freaking killing it. Hemp Connoisseur Magazine from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday, also killing it. If you're interested in doing a show, and why wouldn't you be interested in doing a show on iCannabis Radio? It is so much fun. So great.
Well, and freedom is really wonderful. It's nice that in a country that says it's about these principles,
Right.
but then shows these principles, it's nice that there's a place currently that you can still be free. And who knows how long it's going to last, but right now the internet is still a very safe spot. Regular radio, you can't say, hey, today was a fucking good day, because, you dropped the
Bleep,
F-bomb
bleep,
and
bleep, bleep.
and it's already, you got problems. And it's like, wait, I thought we had free speech, like free speech and freedom of the press. So,
I can't sing a song that I want to sing because we'll get kicked off of YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so we're not free, but we're pretty free.
Right. So
We can say poop.
we're free-ish, and you can say shit, fart, and fuck. And
You can do all those things too.
yeah, absolutely.
Just not in my studio. That would bum me out.
Well, see, and I had challenged Jenny back at the other studio for Sexpot Radio. Not really challenged. I don't want to say that, because with all the challenges going on this day and age, it's getting to be tough. But, I told her, I said, I dare you, or I want to see if you can go a certain portion of your show. We'll do the 5-minute challenge where I'm going to sit under the desk. You're going to wear a skirt, and you're going to try to do the show. Well,
Really?
and she was like, no.
Oh, okay.
And we just never got to a spot because, there's no under the desk. So there's just no way of getting it done. But had we done it right, I would have sat over here. She could have sat in that chair. She could have broadcasted. That would have been so much fun to do on a Sexpot Radio show. But never ended up happening.
Which is the right answer, just so you know. It's the right answer.
Well, it's like telling your parents years after you did something wrong.
Right?
You're like, Mom, remember that time that loud noise happened? Yeah, I did set off a pipe bomb in the backyard. Sorry. But everything's okay
That
now.
was my girlfriend
I've grown
escaping
up.
out the window.
Right, yes. Yeah, it was me naked that you saw running past you at 6 a.m. in the morning, that one morning that you thought.
That
There's
was
no
me.
way that was him. Yes, that was me.
Yep. And I wasn't alone.
So it's kind of like that, but it never happened, so.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm sorry. I'm not sorry for the sake of the studio, but I'm sorry for you.
Yeah, but this was a porn studio. We were just going to revive
This was a
it
porn,
a little
yeah.
bit.
There's all freshly painted walls. Well, we should thank our sponsors, don't you think?
I think so. I've got a good quote for the end of the night, but I'll wait till we get to.
Okay.
That'll be like our bedtime story,
Oh, I like it.
but it's very short.
Okay. Thank you, Edson and Main and Matt, Smile High Wellness, Noto Urban Garden Supply, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, Run on Grass, and of course, Couple Cullimore and Company. Please patronize these companies and let them know that you heard about them on iCannabis Radio.
Yes,
Yes.
please. So once again, for those of you that are looking to donate some money because you're really feeling like helping people, the website that we were talking about earlier is called flywithangels.com. So that's flywithangelsKaty.com. And you can donate money to jennycush.com. All that money goes to help her kids to try to at least get a small jump start on life, given that they really don't have parents anymore. But anyways, so please consider helping people like that. So let's end on a nice little quote here. So beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend to them all the care, kindness, and understanding you can muster, and do it with no thought of reward. Your life will never be the same again. No, I don't know who said that, but it doesn't really matter. It's the message that's important. So, for Happy Monday in awesome August, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Georgia.
have a beautiful night.
Bye. I loved that, Jer.